Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. I'm sorry guys, I haven't been posting for a little bit. It's been like a week, I think, and that's because I actually had surgery. I had surgery like 4 or 5 days ago. So I just got home and I'm back to filming. I'm back to, working, gotta make money and stuff. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for all the support. I love you guys. Honestly, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of DMs on Instagram comments. I try to get back to all of you guys. You guys are like, are you good? Are you okay? So yeah, I was going through a really hard time. It was pretty painful. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. And you guys really helped me a lot, brighten my mood and stuff like that. So I want to thank you guys so much. And you guys are like, oh, I can't wait until, the videos are back. So I'm back now, kinda. I'll probably be back at the gym in like a week or two, hopefully. I pretty much just got home, like literally like an hour ago. So I had appendicitis and it ruptured. So terrible pain. I had to get surgery. A surgery was very minimally invasive, so the recovery time is pretty quick, so I'm very, very lucky for that. But anyway, sorry about the rant. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all the support and all the loving messages and DMs, and I'm sorry if I sound a little out of breath or kind of tired. I kind of am right now. But anyways, there's been a lot of news. The Zion 3 has been officially unveiled. So Zion Williamson, right? His signature shoe line. Of course, we got the Zion 1 right over here, and of course the Zion 2 right over here. So his shoe line, obviously he's with Jordan Brand, right? He signed with Jordan Brand, and he doesn't really play that much. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't really care all too much about that, but a lot of you guys don't like it, which I understand, But either way, as long as his shoe is nice and the price point is pretty good, then I don't really care as long as the shoe looks dope and plays nice, So anyways, the Zion 1, it debuted, a couple years ago, and it retailed for 120 bucks. So not bad for a first signature shoe. Obviously, Zion Williamson is a big ass dude. He is very, very explosive, very athletic, so he needs cushion. So this shoe had full length Air Strobel, which I like. I honestly, at times, I like it more than Zoom Strobel, full length Zoom Strobel. Just because Air Strobel is a little bit softer, you know what I mean? Zoom Strobel, like if I wear it for a long time, there's a lot of pressure on the bottom of my foot and it feels a little uncomfortable, you know what I mean? And then the Zion 2 had a Air Strobel unit here in the heel, had soft foam with a good amount of compression here in the heel, and a very large volume zoom unit, which is top loaded here in the forefoot, which that felt very nice. And obviously Zion Williamson, he needs a lot of support and he needs a lot of cushion, right? So the Zion 3 is supposed to retail for $140, guys. Inflation, I don't know what it is. On the third signature shoes, Jordan Brand is upping the price by 20 bucks, which is insane. That's only like, what, $10, $20 cheaper than KD's? And KD's took like until what, the KD8 to become like a very premium kind of price. But anyways, the tech is actually pretty damn good, so I guess it is justified in the Zion 3. As far as the release date goes, so the Zion 3 Sanctuary colorway releases exclusively in North America in September. So September, so what is it right now? It's July, already July. So July, August, September. So basically 2.5 months, then the Zion 3 will be released. And then while the Mud, Sweat, and Tears colorway launches globally in October on Jordan.com and at select retailers, right? So let's get it started off with the Tracciones as always. So the traction actually looks pretty damn good. So we got herringbone. Did any of this? Okay, so the Zion 1 had a very interesting pattern, but no herringbone. And the Zion 2 didn't really have herringbone. I guess it's just a V. All right, I guess a very enlarged herringbone pattern here in the heel. But here in the Zion 3, it looks like we have a pod right in the forefoot and like a little bit of the midfoot, kind of like sneaks in there. But yeah, that seems to be a solid rubber outsole. And of course, herringbone is very, very good. And then around that also seems to be a little bit of not really actually, it just seems to circle out a little bit. But it is a translucent rubber in this pink colorway, right? Let's check the other colorways and see. Oh yeah, so in this colorway as well, the herringbone part is black, and then around that, like in the heel and around the pod as well, in the forefoot and in the midfoot, is pretty much icy, right? It's a translucent outsole. So of course, translucent outsoles, in my personal experience, right, in all the shoes that I've played in, translucent outsoles don't perform as good as solid rubber outsoles, you know, just from my personal experience, just because sometimes it tends to slide out a little bit more, it tends to grab a little bit more dust, right? So I am a little bit worried about that, but I guess, you know, when you're playing, you put a lot more force into your forefoot, right, rather than your heel, so you need a little bit, or you need a lot more good traction in the forefoot and also in the midfoot. So I'm not really too worried, I guess, because looking at these two colorways, it looks like those pods are solid rubber. But of course, the most important thing, however, is the rubber compound. How is the rubber compound? How well does it stick? You know what I mean? So I mean, hopefully it's good. I mean, in the Zion one was pretty bad on dust from my experience. It was a very good traction on a clean court, but it did pick up a good amount of dust. The Zion 2 is actually pretty damn good. It does pick up a lot less dust than the Zion 1, however, right? So the Zion 3 does look very, very good, right? All right, moving on to the cushioning setup, which is my favorite part about this shoe, and I feel like it's a lot of people's favorite parts, right? So I love drop-in midsoles. Drop-in midsoles are absolutely amazing, and I feel like all shoes should have drop-in midsoles, just in my personal opinion, right? There are a couple of advantages. Obviously, there's pros and cons to everything, right? But there's a lot more pros, in my personal opinion, to a drop-in midsole. So first of all, there's more support, right? So if you have a drop-in, right? So this is basically what a drop-in midsole is. So a drop-in midsole is a midsole that you can kind of drop into your shoe, right? So here we have the 808-2, which is one of my favorite shoes of the past year. And right here, one good thing about it is you can put a lot of sidewall, right? You put a lot of sidewall here on the lateral side of the shoe, or of the midsole actually. And then your foot is placed right here, obviously, and you have a sidewall for better lateral containment. So this adds to the lateral containment. And also, another thing you can do is add lateral counters here in the upper as well. So you have really, really good support, really, really good lateral containment, which is a bonus for a drop-in midsole. Also, another bonus is you don't have to use a strobo board, right? So traditional shoes use strobo boards, and you have to stitch, you know, the midsole to the upper and blah, blah, blah. And they have to glue it, right? So when they glue it, it does get pretty damn stiff, and you can't really feel the foam for underfoot cushioning, you know, step in comfort and stuff like that. But one way drop-in midsoles are really good is that your foot is pretty much right on top of the foam, and it makes it the step in comfort way better. You can also have the foam a lot lower to the ground, right? Because you don't need to have all that impact protection, because like I said, your foot is right on top of the foam, right? So you're gonna, you know, feel all that comfort, you're gonna feel that foam right underneath the foot. And then, you know, also another good thing is usually the foam texture is very sticky, right? So because of that, it grabs your sock and also does improve lockdown, right? So here in the 808-2, it's amazing. Same thing with like the Kobe 9, same thing with the Kobe 8. Sometimes they do this with the felt, which I don't like. I don't know why they did that here in the full-length Zoom strobo setup. But anyways, so there are a lot of pros to drop-in midsoles, right? One disadvantage, however, if you look at the heel is pretty much all rubber. So here in the 808-2, that's what makes it like, this is all rubber, right? There's no exposed midsole because the midsole is inside of the shoe. So it's pretty clunky in the heel, not a huge deal, it's just me nitpicking, you know, it's not terrible, it's not a deal breaker, even for me. It's just something that I don't really like either that much, just because, you know, when I'm doing heel dominant strides on the court, it does feel a little clunky in the heel, that's all, right? If you look at the Zion 3, it looks like it's just all rubber, right? So that kind of sucks, but you know, not a huge deal, right? And also look at that curve in the heel looks crazy. So it's probably gonna have a crazy rocking sensation in the heel. And then the forefoot, look at how curved that is as well. That's crazy. So as far as the cushion goes, right? So what is the foam? The foam is going to be Formula 23, right? So if you look on top of the foam, where your foot is going to be, it looks like a very nice texture, right? There is a nice texture to it, you know, it kind of looks like like pebbles or something, but that's probably gonna grip your sock very well. Formula 23, I actually haven't really felt it, just because in all the Jordan shoes, and like the Lukas, you know, and like what other shoe used it? Some other shoes used it, but it wasn't that nice just because they made it a carrier, right? But this looks like it'll be full unadulterated Formula 23, so I have yet to try it out. But hopefully Formula 23 is nice, right? But whatever foam it is, it'll probably be nice because, you know, your foot's right on top of the foam. And also on the bottom, we can see it says, well, we have Zion's logo, right? But is that it looks like a plastic midfoot shin plate, right? So of course that's good for torsion support. And then also in the forefoot, we have a bottom loaded zoom unit, right? So I don't know if you guys have ever felt a bottom loaded zoom unit in a drop-in midsole, but like for example, here in the full length zoom setup, this is crazy bouncy, extremely bouncy. I love this setup. And also here in the Kobe 7, like here in the heel and also in the forefoot, this is pretty much the exact same setup as well. We have a zoom unit here in the forefoot. It's probably very, very thin. I can't really feel it all too much here in the Kobe 7 setup, but the heel is actually pretty nice. So yeah, I love that they're bringing that back. Too bad it's not full length zoom, but that would be crazy cushion, right? And also another thing that they said is that this is the lowest setup in any Zion shoe, which isn't saying much because Zions weren't the best for court feel. I mean, it was pretty good. I would say it's all right, like around average. But it wasn't amazing, right? It says a drop-in midsole supports comfort and stability, and then the stack height is the lowest yet on a Zion signature shoe. So super duper excited about the cushioning setup, right? And then as far as the upper goes, so the upper looks pretty interesting. The upper seems to change a little bit as far as like from colorway to colorway, right? So in this like teal colorway, the overall upper seems to be like a very nice like jacquard or textile material. And then with that color on the lateral side, that's actually supposed to be Zion, right? He took his foot and then pretty much landed in mud. And then they kind of like took a picture of that and that's just mud splattered, which is it's pretty cool, but mud, right? It's supposed to signify him coming out of the mud, I guess, which is kind of weird. But I do like the overall pattern. It does look pretty cool, but in this teal colorway, it's like a rubberized type of material, right? But in this kind of like 3D colorway, it looks to be more of like a fused material. And then I think I saw another colorway where it looks like an embroidered type of material as well. So the material looks super nice though. Like in the toe box, that the textile material looks very, very soft. It kind of reminds me, you guys remember the Crazy Light boost? I think it was a 2015. Dude, they got to bring jacquard back. That was a very, very nice material. And then on the lateral side, it kind of reminds me of the Jordan 36 where it kind of like, you know, it points towards the middle a little bit. But I do like that design, right? And it's like a foam, you know, it looks like a sidewall as well for better lateral containment, right? So if you look at the drop-in midsole, right, it looks like it has good arch support, right? You know, where your arches, it seems like it comes up a little bit. And also we can see on the lateral side, it does come up a good amount, right, for lateral containment. In the heel, not as much, which is pretty interesting, but in the forefoot, right, it definitely does seem like it does come up acting as sidewall. Plus, on the outside of the shoe where the upper is, right, the tongue looks like a kind of not super nicely padded, but not a huge deal. And then in the ankle area, it seems to have a good amount of padding. It's a low top shoe, obviously. I mean, I guess this is like, what is this? It's like a low pretty much, right? Low mid. This is, the Zion 2 is a mid though. But yeah, the Zion 3, the aesthetics, it looks freaking amazing. I love how this shoe looks. And then in the heel, like in the back of the shoe, it says Zion with the Jumpman logo on kind of like the outsole. But there's really no other logos on the upper, it seems like. You know what I mean? It's just that kind of like pattern, that mud pattern, right? But yeah, 140 bucks. It kind of sucks that they raised the price so much, 20 bucks, but the tech is looking freaking good. And it's actually, the aesthetics look freaking amazing as well. Jordan Brand is kind of killing it. You know what I mean? They got some amazing performers, right? They got amazing tech, you know, from Nike, and they got some really good looking shoes. They got some really, you know, big athletes as well. So Jordan Brand, I feel like as far as performance basketball is really up there, right? For performance, right? Like up there with Nike, up there with like, you know, Li-Ning or Wade, in my personal opinion. You know, it's kind of up there. So one of the best companies in my personal opinion for performance basketball. But anyways, tell us your thoughts on the Zion 3 and tell us your thoughts on the tech, you know, especially the tech. It'll be coming out soon. But anyways, that about concludes this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.